Help support Friendo Club by going to patreon.com/Steven Larson or clicking join at youtube.com/Steven Larson. Access to bonus episodes, question threads for the Going In Raw podcast, and entry to our monthly wrestling predictions challenges. Join the Friendo Club today. Hey, Friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
And welcome back to Going In Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you need to be listening to. On today's episode, we're going to be talking about AEW Dynamite on the road to Forbidden Door. Some future matches, perhaps teased for upcoming pay-per-views. Also,
talking about Wembley. Talking about the Wembley show. All in.
Well, you know that. That was called the tease of my own. Now you've just spoiled it, Larson.
But no, the spoiler be saying what those matches were.
Well, it's Ospreay MJF.
Now you spoiled.
Ah, hell. Also on today's episode, we're going to be talking about more Joe Hendry. Say his name and he appears. I believe. Hey, have you seen somebody posted this on Twitter? Joe Hendry, because it's been the same song for like years now. Yeah. He did that theme song ages ago, but he's updated the video to update his look because, he went blonde at some point. Mm-hmm. Have you seen, I don't know if it was original, but it was one of the first videos he did of it. And he's got dark hair, but he's wearing like a black turtleneck, but he keyed everything except for like his head and his hands out.
Yes.
And he's so serious in it.
Yeah. Yeah. I've seen that
before. Man, I saw somebody on Twitter that said his original video was cursed. Anyways, we're going to talk about Joe Hendry because who doesn't love Joe Hendry, man? Oh my God.
I know everybody believes.
Yeah. And then also we'll kick off with this because
let's get the bad news out of the way first. Come on.
God damn it. This makes for a great thumbnail and a great title, Larson, because immediately we'll get thousands of views more. But we got to talk about it because a lot of people are talking about it. And we talk about what people are talking about in the wrestling community.
That's
and of course,
we're
kicking things off with Shane O'Mac being all elite.
Please
what?
No. So last week during an episode of Grill and JR, do you want to get an O-Man in here, Steve?
Oh, man.
Jim Ross discussed the possibility of Shane McMahon joining AEW, saying, quote, "It's so crazy that it might work." Well, on the most recent episode this week, Conrad Thompson mentioned that he had been told that Shane apparently reached out to AEW talent, discussed the possibility of coming to AEW. These transcripts come to you via Fightful. That's what Conrad had to say. Quote, "Last week we got a lot of chatter online about some of the things we talked about. One conversation in particular really stuck out, and people were talking about it. It's about the idea of Shane McMahon." I could hear this in Conrad's voice.
I know he's got the perfect Southern voice. It's so soothing. I believe that's one reason that his podcasts are so successful. He's got just the best personality.
Anyways, Conrad continues. It's about the idea of Shane McMahon possibly working with, it says here, WB. If you recall, you said to JR, it was so, I think you meant AEW. It's so crazy to think it might work depending on how his position are introduced. Shane called me the other day. He called 2 or 3 times, which I appreciate. He's always been sensitive in that respect. That's only a question that Shane can answer. Shane and Tony being together, how would that work creatively? Heck, who knows? It might be great. I saw a few fans, one in particular, who thought this was the most ridiculous thing he had ever heard. One guy in particular said, JR is fucking senile now.
Oh, wow, that's rude.
I engaged a little with that. There was a friend of ours, I shouldn't say their name, but he went out of his way to text me and say, hey, that's not as crazy as you think. I know for sure that Shane McMahon has reached out to wrestlers on the AEW roster to at least hypothetically discuss the idea. Are we saying that's going to happen? No, we are saying it's not that crazy of an idea. Please, if there is a God on high, please don't have Shane McMahon show up in AEW.
Oh, come on, man. Where's your business acumen, Larson? Are you kidding me? You know how good this video is going to do based off of Conrad Thompson talking about this?
Oh,
Shane O'Mac in AEW would be outstanding for my wallet.
It'll pop a number for 1 week. He'll show up congested, sweaty. And as we've seen during his recent appearances in WWE, add basically nothing to the programming, and the initial pop will wane, and the shock of having a McMahon in AEW is all that it provides. Otherwise, Honestly.
I am disgusted.
Don't want to see it.
Don't
want to
Larson, an all-time WrestleMania moment. An all-time WrestleMania moment is The Miz versus Shane McMahon when Miz was hosting with Snoop Dogg. Shane O'Mac gets into an impromptu match with The Miz. He does one...
Very vividly.
Don't interrupt. He does one leapfrog. His quads explode.
Yeah, that's a reason not to have him on wrestling television. He's injury prone.
Snoop Dogg takes over, and they act like Shane never appeared in the first place. It was as if it's like an inverse Joe Hendry. Say his name, and he disappears.
And, hey, I'm sorry Shane tore his quads. That sucks, but he's off TV. I don't miss him. I don't think you do either. I can look at this from the view of the business perspective.
You're going to get me in trouble.
This is my new favorite thing, to make you defend people you don't like defending. Let me finish my thought. Again, it's going to be a short-term pop, both for AEW and for our business prospects. That's the thing. In terms of our enjoyment of the AEW product, it's not going to go up if Shane McMahon's on TV.
Yeah, it will.
No, it's not.
Because I was watching last night, and I was like, you know what this needs? Needs a little pizzazz. It needs a little something extra. And that something extra, Shane O'Mac.
No, that's not Shane O'Mac. He provides no pizzazz today. Nothing extra.
Dude, listen, man. We got TNA making Eddie Edwards an actual literal vampire and
werewolf.
Decapitating.
Get your stuff right, man.
What did I say, vampire? Werewolf.
Yeah, you said vampire.
A werewolf. Okay, my bad. Werewolf. I'm so excited at the possibility of Shane O'Mac, right? So we got Eddie Edwards as a werewolf. AEW's got to step up their game. They got to do something
because
to compete.
AEW outperforms TNA. The ratings probably tenfold, man.
Yeah, but are they competing with Joe Hendry's NXT?
Well, I mean, AEW is. It's like the numbers are kind of neck and neck at this point. So
yeah, man. Look, dude. Obviously, much of what I'm saying is tongue in cheek, but I'll be honest with you. For the sheer train wreck quality of this, I'm about it. Fuck it. Here's the thing. This is. Oh God, you're gonna get me in trouble, Larson. You're gonna get me in trouble.
It's my new favorite thing.
Right now,
position
Larson,
to defend people you don't want to defend.
Right now, the Fed. Right. It's precious. I don't want Shane O'Mac anywhere near that. I don't need train wreck. We had decades of train wreck.
Steve.
It's good stuff. God damn it. It's good stuff. I'm into that. I don't want none of that. I don't want no Goldbergs. I don't want no Hogans. I don't want anybody coming in and disrupting the vitality that is WWE programming right now. But AEW, whatever. Just go ahead and put him out there. See what happens. The memes will be great. Larson, do you know what kind of numbers I'd do on WrestleJuice? The internet reacts to Shane O'Mac's return. Oh, off the charts.
Literally nothing you said relates to your enjoyment of the AEW product beyond maybe the train wreck aspect of it, which in and of itself isn't necessarily going to increase, per se, your enjoyment of the show. It might increase your curiosity in terms of what kind of mess it's going to be.
Oh, dude, look, man, just entertain me. Don't bore me.
That's what Shane's been doing for years, being boring.
Again, yeah, but this is a different context here. That WrestleMania thing was not boring. Different context.
Well, I don't think Shane had much say in whether he was boring or not in that instance at WrestleMania. I think Fate intervened and destroyed his quads. Not like Shane made that choice.
Boy, that must have sucked. But yeah. Anyways, I think it's a silly debate because I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think in any world it's going to happen. But hey, honestly, crazier things have happened. I can point out a bunch of crazier things that have happened.
Oh, for sure.
So
happen.
It would, dude. Look, do you think? Let me ask you this:
What?
Do you think there's any truth to him reaching out to talent, saying, could this work? Because if you give a yes, then it's a possibility that it could happen.
I suppose it's possible he picks up the phone and texts Chris Jericho. Because I would assume it'd have to be someone that he has a prior relationship with.
Yeah, for sure, yeah.
Which would be Jericho or Paul White.
Jericho would be the guy. Jericho would be the guy.
I think those three names would be the ones that you'd reach out to.
Jericho would be the guy that would say, Tony, this is a good idea. And Tony would do it. Dude, I don't now that we just went through that, Tell me that there's not a possibility here.
No, I said there's a possibility. I think that there is a possibility. I don't think it's great, but I think there's
Give me a
possibility.
percentage. It's at least up there with Gunther winning at SummerSlam.
Oh, it's much lower than Gunther winning at SummerSlam. By several factors.
Several factors? Okay.
Yes.
Oh, man. Anyway, so let's move on to stuff that we do know, and that is Joe Hendry is a draw. Larson, the most liked WWE video on their YouTube, on their .com, since the WrestleMania, one of the WrestleMania XL videos. I don't know which one.
Yeah. That's WrestleMania.
Yeah, it's WrestleMania, exactly.
It's WrestleMania. I mean,
that's like
popular stuff. People want to know
one
what
of their
happened
biggest
at WrestleMania.
shows of the year.
Yeah.
And now, given that the reception to his NXT appearance has been so great, we could be seeing more of Hendry on NXT. This is according to Fightful. Sources indicated to Fightful that NXT officials were, quote, very happy with the reaction Hendry received and that he's expected to make more appearances in the near future. I saw a quote from those other guys, Dave Meltzer, saying that he felt that the short amount of time in that Battle Royal was not a great move for NXT in terms of using Hendry. Do you agree with that, disagree, and where do you see Hendry going forward in NXT?
I mean, Meltzer wasn't alone in thinking it was a bad idea to have Joe Hendry in the Battle Royal for, 90 seconds, whatever it was. But as we discussed in our review yesterday, if he wasn't going to win it, why raise people's hopes of a potential victory for Joe Hendry if he wasn't going to win it? And the disappointment probably have been greater if he was down to the final 4 or the final 2 and got eliminated then.
I kind of think that, dude, I'll be honest with you. Like, I agree with more Hendry better, right? The more the better.
Oh, absolutely.
Joe Hendry,
I'm happy
right?
he got a promo.
He got his own entrance. He got a promo. And you don't want him overshadowing the whole thing. The longer he's in, and I'm not even saying I agree with this philosophy. I think this is what the philosophy was.
Totally.
The longer he's in, the more overshadowing he's going to be, and the more disappointed people would be because it's looking like he has a shot at this thing. And I think they for obvious reasons, it's NXT, it's not TNA. They have their own thing that they're doing. Mm-hmm. Meltzer had said something along the lines of, this isn't a great start for TNA and their relationship because you have your top women's champion, Jordynne Grace, losing to the NXT champion. But like your top women's champion on a show that does 10 times less viewers is not main. It should have main evented.
It should have.
Is in the co-main event with the women's champion looking really damn good, turning a lot of heads.
Let me ask you this. I just read that for Slammiversary, TNA sold out the venue. In fact, had to add more seats.
Oh, that's awesome.
Which is great. Would you think that this partnership with NXT, potentially introducing,
couldn't have hurt that,
their talent to a wider audience, benefited them in terms of selling out the building?
I don't think there's been any amount of disrespect shown towards TNA.
No.
And he compounds that by saying, or he adds on to that the Hendry stuff, him only appearing. I think it's a really small sample size. How Kazarian lasted forever in that battle.
Yeah, he was final 5 or 6.
Yeah, I think he was. Yeah.
Yeah, he was in it for a while. And here's the thing. Joe Hendry has his promo. The match starts. Everybody else in the ring turns their focus on Joe Hendry at the start. And he's eliminated by the guy he's feuding with in TNA.
They're promoting that feud.
Frankie Kazarian.
This is clearly a collaborative thing.
Yes.
Obviously, it's going to be on WWE's terms. Mm-hmm. But it seems obvious that they are doing what they can, and I understand, dude. They send Tatum Paxley over to TNA to get beat by Jordynne Grace. Not exactly a top-level name. But, again, you got to understand the lay of the land here.
Yes.
TNA does not exactly perform numbers even close to what NXT does, there's going to be, I'm not even going to say a lopsided relationship here, but there's a power structure. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
And as long as how they handle it draws interest, and honestly, like the more Joe Hendry on NXT programming, I think the better. Even God, put him out there on main for a second. I don't know how they're going to handle it, but it does seem like it has generated excitement, and the infusion of TNA into NXT, I think, has benefited NXT as well. I think that
totally.
You look at the overall excitement level of NXT right now. We started doing these reviews seemingly at the perfect time, because people are really hopping back on that NXT train for the first time in a very, very long time.
Yeah.
We started getting rumblings of this going back like a year or so, and people are like, hey, this is starting to get good again. Or about 6 months maybe. And it is, and it's proving that the quality is there in the viewership. So
Yeah.
I mean, I think today we're going to get the numbers on the NXT ratings.
Yeah, get about. We should have got them yesterday. That's funny.
I think there was somebody said there was do we have a holiday recently? Because I thought somebody in the thing said there was a holiday delay. Have we had a holiday? Oh, Juneteenth.
Yeah.
So yes.
Yeah. Then
Dope's
today,
gonna kill me for forgetting that it was Juneteenth. He's gonna absolutely kill me.
I had a point and then I forgot it. Oh well.
Sorry. We're doing this a little bit early. I'm going on vacation, so we're not doing this live.
Yes.
No conspiracy theories. Speaking of which, you want to talk about...
Wait. People are trying to hatch some conspiracy theories? What?
No, but, it's an AEW review.
Oh.
And that's a bit of a walking on eggshells topic for some people.
Why?
I mean,
It's just pro wrestling.
It's just pro. You'd think
It's
so.
just pro
It's just
wrestling.
pro wrestling.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I don't know. Anyways, what do you think of AEW Dynamite last night?
I thought it was
like the boom.
I thought last week was pretty solid. I thought this week was pretty solid. There's an emphasis on trying to tell stories, at least as how AEW tells stories. And I thought the promo segment between Ospreay and Swerve, well, maybe a tad long, I thought ultimately was really good, especially when Swerve was really getting on Ospreay about these are the sacrifices that you have to make to get to the top here in AEW. Are you willing to do it? Look what it's done to me. He says, I don't have friends. Everybody that's crossed my path is now, as he put it, in the grave. Swerve is a man alone, except for Prince Nana. And he's saying to Ospreay, are you willing to do that? And it's interesting how that all ties into Ospreay's willingness or lack thereof to use the Tiger Driver 91, because it's Swerve week after week is really trying to get in Ospreay's head about, are you willing to do what it takes to beat me and be champion? And Ospreay did a pretty good job last night stewing over that and potentially questioning himself up until the point where Swerve brought Ospreay's family into it, at which point Ospreay got upset and says, you don't want to make this personal. So he starts to leave, and Swerve says, maybe I do. Maybe I do want to make this personal. So Swerve sees that his attempts to get in Ospreay's head are working. He's not going to let up. And, this feud hasn't maybe been as flashy, but I think in terms of getting into character stuff for both of them, I think it's been pretty solid.
They've pretty quickly pivoted Will Ospreay into being the main character of Dynamite. We saw that in his promo with Swerve. We also saw it with him running into a match that I think a lot of people would consider, a big time match, him versus MJF. And from that, I've got two thoughts on it. Number one, the smart move would 1,000% be Ospreay at Forbidden Door hesitates and loses to Swerve because of it. Then goes on to Wembley against MJF, who's a big deal. They gotta let some people lose.
Yeah.
They got to let some people lose. Having Ospreay lose to Swerve would be a smart move because it helps Swerve, keeps him strong, which he needs right now. Ospreay losing, questioning himself, a real story for him. Because that the whole idea of the story with the Oscutter, with the I'm sorry, not the Oscutter, the Storm Driver, Tiger Driver 91. People, you can call it what you want to call it. People in our comments saying, I think it's called this. Same goddamn move, different name.
Yes.
Whatever you want to call it. His hesitation to use that is a perfect AEW story because, as you said, it's a story told because of the in-ring stuff. It's a wrestling story. He beats MJF, and maybe MJF brings that out of him. I don't know if he's going to have to come to terms with using that move, with understanding that, hey, this is what it does take. Or if being the good guy, I'm never going to cross that line until I'm absolutely forced to. I don't know. I think it's an interesting story to tell, and I hope that they tell it effectively. And then, if that, because what does the winner of the Owen Cup, they get
a match against Swerve or champ?
They get Wembley.
Swerve.
They get the Wembley Swerve match, right?
So we saw the brackets last night for the Owen
But there
Cup.
is still one wild card spot left, right? I find it difficult to believe that Ospreay would jump into that somehow.
Yeah, I know. So, I mean, I think this all kind of dovetails together, so we can get into the Owen brackets now because they were revealed on both the men's and women's side.
Sorry, I was just going to say Ospreay beats MJF at Wembley, and then maybe that propels him to a number one. Look, he's going to get the world title.
At some
That's
point,
happening.
absolutely.
Yeah.
He is next. Ospreay is next to be AEW champion.
I just think it would be great if they waited until Wembley 2025. I don't think they're going to. I don't think they're going to wait that long, but I think it'd be great if they did.
Yeah, I agree. The Owen brackets were unveiled. And on the men's side, it seems pretty obvious set up for Bryan Danielson to win the whole thing. So on the left side of the bracket, Claudio versus Pac. That happened the main event of Dynamite last night. Pac advanced. The other first-round match on the left side of the bracket is Bryan Danielson versus Shingo Takagi, which will be phenomenal.
That's going to be the match. That might be the match of the whole tournament. Yeah.
Yeah, it could be. That's going to happen at Forbidden Door, they said last night. Danielson's going to advance from there. So we're going to get Danielson and Pac in one semifinal. On the right side of the bracket, we got Rey Fenix versus Jay White.
Mm-hmm. Jay White moves ahead.
Jay White will win that. And then Jeff Jarrett.
Ain't he great?
It's awesome he's in this tournament. So some people like, why is Jeff Jarrett in this tournament?
That's the most asinine sentiment I think I've possibly ever heard. Why is Jeff Jarrett in this tournament? Because he was his best fucking friend. Like, what the fuck? I don't know, man.
Right.
I don't know about some people out there, man.
So Jeff Jarrett's facing a wild card entrant in the first round. Mm-hmm. Wild card entrant will advance.
Yeah.
So it'll be Jay White versus whoever the surprise entrant is. In that semifinal. So I would guess it's probably going to be Bryan. I mean, given we don't know who the wild card entrant's going to be yet, I mean, Bryan Danielson versus Jay White's a pretty good final there.
Does anybody make like tons of sense for the wild card?
What if it's Nigel?
Holy shit! Wow.
And the final is Nigel and Bryan Danielson.
Boy, that is out there. That is something else, dude.
I'm not expecting it, but the crap that Nigel talks about Bryan Danielson,
it's hilarious too.
It's great.
Yeah, and there's always been rumors, and that he that he's ready to go.
But if Danielson, he said, my last run, I want to get a title shot, or I want to win the title at Wembley. Yeah. Him versus Swerve is a heck of a main event.
Oh, that's huge.
It's a huge win for Swerve because I don't think Danielson's going to win that match.
Right, yeah.
So that would be I would fully expect Danielson to win this thing. But that being said, we don't know who the wild card is.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Maybe it's Evil. We don't know.
It's probably going to be like Tanahashi or something.
I was thinking, depending on when the rest of the first round matches.
Because Jeff Jarrett's got the wild card, right?
Yeah.
Tanahashi versus Jeff Jarrett. What a weird match that is.
I was thinking maybe if Mox loses at Forbidden Door to Naito, and depending on the schedule for the rest of the first round matches, that maybe it'll be Mox.
Yeah.
And we'd have Mox Danielson in the finals. But I know we've seen that before, not in the Owen tournament, but in one of the other prior tournaments that happened in the finals. So
Yeah.
I don't know if they're going to do that again.
I mean, what if it's yeah, that'd be right. I don't think he's going to lose anytime soon when he comes back. But I was thinking like Adam Cole.
Yeah.
At some point, he's got to come back, you think?
Yeah. Could be Adam Cole.
Yeah, lots of intriguing possibilities going forward.
For the women's tournament, first round matches, we got Willow Nightingale and Serena Deeb. And the winner of that will be facing Chris Statlander because Statlander defeated Nyla Rose last night.
So that's going to be Willow.
Oh, I don't know. Statlander might advance out of that.
Oh, I'm sorry. I mean, getting past Serena Deeb is Willow.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah.
So that's the left side of the bracket. Right side sees Deonna Purrazzo and Hikaru Shida. And then Mariah May versus Saraya.
Oh, shit.
Mariah May's making it to the finals. She could win the whole thing.
Yeah. In which case, you would think they'd do Mariah May versus a bad guy.
Yeah,
Statlander.
Yeah, I think Statlander's going to beat Willow. Yeah,
I think so. Yeah, that makes sense. She needs that. She totally needs that. Yeah.
It's entirely possible that Statlander wins the whole thing, though, too.
I could see that as well. It's obvious they're really trying to push her right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I could see that. Anyways, let's go ahead and dive into it. We'll get to what we get to when we get to it. Kicked off with a killer MJF versus Roosh match. I love Roosh matches. I feel like he was going taking a little easy on MJF though. You don't got to take it easy when you're going up against jobber looking Roosh guy. Or Roosh looking.
He didn't take it easy. He was going up against Jack Perry though.
Yeah, I know. We need that level every single time. That level.
I know.
But no, this was still really physical.
This was really good. And this was MJF's first match back from being out with with injuries for 6 months. So.
Yeah, dude, you can't. He's the bread and butter over there at AEW. You can't be.
But when Roosh was throwing MJF around ringside into the barricade a bunch, I was like, yeah, this is the Roosh that I enjoy watching.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my only qualm with this match is that Roosh lost.
Yeah, I understand. But MJF is a massive star. One of AEW's top draws.
You give Roosh that opportunity.
Roosh will deliver. Absolutely.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Primero.
Oh.
I don't know how you say draw in Espanol. Primero dinero. That's what he'd be. Biggest money.
Yes. But stellar match. There's commercial free. Ran it uninterrupted. Not even picture in picture.
Get those pictures out of here. Enough of that.
So down towards the finish, Roosh is looking for Bull's Horn. MJF, though, counters with the clothesline out of the corner. Hits some punches, bites Roosh in the face, follows with a Heat Seeker, then a Brain Buster to get the win.
Brain Buster.
So then Cage of Agony, that's Gates of Agony and Brian Cage, and Hechicero show up on the Tron. And Brian Cage says, the EVPs want me to tell you that you're facing Hechicero at Forbidden Door. And then Hechicero cuts a promo in Spanish. And then to punctuate everything, Toa Leona just screams.
After that, we had an Orange Cassidy, Kyle O'Reilly, Mark Briscoe, and Dante Martin interview because they had a match later on in the night.
All-Star 8-man tag.
Yeah.
Steve's favorite type of match is an AEW.
I'm being positive. So everybody's just waiting for Mark Briscoe to talk because he's doing one of it. Hey, I'm Mark Briscoe, crazy guy. and so finally Renee just goes over to Mark and everybody's happy with it. And he says, it was only 1 week ago this very evening and I proclaimed that today is the day. And I proceeded to get pinned. My bad, boys. Won't happen again because the word of the day is vengeance. The word of the day is redemption. 2 words a day today. And now we got Dante, my fellow participant in the TNT ladder match at Forbidden Door. But tonight, then Jack Perry just steps through the shot, looks at everybody, and leaves. Mark, get your ass out of here, Jack Perry. We ain't worried about tomorrow. We ain't worried about yesterday. We're worried about tonight. 8-man all-star tag team action. It's on. Let's go. And then everybody else leaves. They're like, oh, man, that was awesome.
Oh, Kyle O'Reilly gets so fired up. He goes, I'd follow Mark Briscoe anywhere.
Yeah, man. I would too, probably.
So then we got a Will Ospreay, Swerve Strickland face-to-face. Ospreay's out first. Swerve with Prince Nana out second. Ospreay says, well, here we are in the ring at the same time again. Last time we were here, before I snatched the belt from your hand, put on my shoulder, you said I couldn't carry the weight of both worlds. Funny enough, I am very capable of doing it. Allow me to remind you that I held 3 different titles on 3 continents at the same time. Swerve, I'm about to test you because I'm going to prove that I'm the best wrestler in the world. And Swerve goes, you already messed up. I'm the best in the world.
You already messed up.
And I've been watching you the whole time. We've taken 2 different paths for the last 5 years. It all culminates in the main event of Forbidden Door. How fitting is that? You holding multiple titles on one side, me holding multiple titles as well, one in wrestling, the other in the entertainment world. And I've been doing it all myself. And but don't let me forget, last year Forbidden Door, you versus Kenny Omega. How'd you beat him? Is that what you're going to have to do to take this title away from me? Or are you going to have to get on the phone with the family, with Don Callis, to try to take this title from me? And Will says, you think I need Don
buddy.
Callis?
What? I'm not sure what committee decided you get to do Will Ospreay's voice, man. But
Sorry.
That's sort of my territory. You think I need Don Callis? Do you people think I need Don Callis? Trust me when I say this, bruv. I don't need Callis. I don't need a family. I could do this myself. Since you want to bring up what I did to Kenny last year, that was only the start of this summer of Ospreay. After that was Okada, then Shingo, then Chris Jericho at Wembley. The learning tree. That's right, bruv. While you had a hit row, I had a hit list, and I beat every one of them. And the crowd's like, oh, he mentioned hit row.
Yeah.
How about that AJ Francis, bruv? Do you feel the pressure of being in a ring with the best in the world? Because I can see Wembley on the horizon. You should feel that pressure because this is your first pay-per-view main event as champ. And what if that kill shot you promised everyone is just centimeters off? Are you that confident because I won't hit that move? No, Swerve, whether I do the Oscar, the Stormbreaker, or I cave your head in with a hidden blade. The next morning you wake up without that title and that pain you feel when you walk down that ramp isn't going to be as bad as when in it. But the pain you feel if I use the Tiger Driver 91, bruv, you won't walk out of that arena alive. You can't walk out of that arena alive, bruv. Be thankful.
Oh, my gosh. So Swerve,
I'm either going to get love or hate in these comments for this impression.
I don't know which one it's going to be. Swerve laughs all that off and says, Will, you keep using the word if. I'm the world champion. I don't go off ifs. I go off certainties. You want to talk about the main event, me defending this title main event for the first time? This is your first pay-per-view main event, period, bruv. And you got me to thank for that. You talk about your list of people you went through to get here. Yeah, let's talk about your friends, all of them. You and Shota with Mercedes doing all the dances, right? Point is, I don't have friends. Anybody who came for me in the title, anybody who got between me and this title, they're bodies now. They're in the grave. They mean nothing to me. I got a question for you, Will. What if I break your leg at Forbidden Door? Who's Will Ospreay then? What if I break your arm? Will these people still love you the same way? You can break my leg, you can break my arm, you can shave my head, but at the end of the day, when I walk out of the wrestling business, I'm still Swerve Strickland, the mogul, the businessman, the actor, the podcaster. None of that changes. This business will consume you. This title will consume you. He takes his sunglasses off. He says, look what it did to me, Will. I'm trying to educate you. You need to sacrifice that much more to be in the position I'm in. You don't get that yet. You got to sacrifice the things you love. Hell, you're going to have to sacrifice the love of this business. You're going to have to sacrifice the love of your wife and sacrifice the love of your son. And I don't think you're ready to do that, Will.
Whoa. Stop it. He pushes the mic away from Swerve. Don't you dare mention my son again. Don't make this personal, bruv. And Nana gets between him, and he's like, you guys have to save this emotion. Save that fire. Save all you got for Will Ospreay versus Swerve Strickland for the title. Whose house? And then Will screams, my house! And then Will turns to leave.
They even hit his music,
line.
yeah.
Yeah, his music hits because he got the punctuation mark, but Swerve's like, nah. Not Prince, nah. No, is what I mean.
Yeah, so Swerve says, Will, I've got a question for you. What if I do want to make this personal? Because when it comes to this title, it's always personal. So when you go home, send my regards to Al and Harry again.
Uh-oh.
And so Ospreay rushes back in the ring and gets right in Swerve's face. And they're basically forehead to forehead.
Yeah, man.
And they're just talking crap.
He's like, give him the stick. Don't give him the stick. After that, we had the Don Callis family backstage. I know Wayne Maker's sitting here listening to this. He's like, oh, butchering the language, are you? You bastard. Don Callis family backstage. And they were watching during this whole thing.
Trent was upset about Ospreay saying he didn't need the family to win.
Yeah, man. He's trying to wiggle into that Ospreay spot. Callis says, I know Will better than his own mother. We're all going to be fine. And then we had all-star tag team action. Zack Sabre Jr., Konosuke Takeshita, Kyle Fletcher, and Roderick Strong versus Mark Briscoe, Kyle O'Reilly, Dante Martin, and Orange Cassidy. A batch of all-stars if I've ever heard of one, man.
All-stars across the board, Steve.
Across the board.
Across the board. All all-stars.
All all-stars.
It was one of those typical 15-minute fun AEW tag matches. I'm not going to say there's no stories involved because Cassidy's got the match with Zack Sabre Jr. at Forbidden Door. You got Dante, you got Mark Briscoe and Takeshita in the ladder match. They're trying to build heat between the participants in those matches. I get it. That's story building in wrestling. And it was a perfectly fun match.
Yeah. I saw this being the reason a lot of people, it's funny whenever there's like a long match, like wrestle, all the AEW fans really stand up like, oh, this Dynamite, so good. It's just, it's just like how much wrestling per minute. What's the average wrestle hold per minute we're getting?
Oh yeah, it's the work rate pace or something like that, huh? Yeah, yeah,
yeah. It's like, oh man, load up that wrestle match.
Yes, let's dial up the work rate here.
None of that fat there. None of that learning tree stuff. None of that promo stuff. Just wrestle. Stop talking. Don't talk. Wrestle. That's what the AEW fans like. Anyways.
This was a fun match, though.
Yeah, no, it was fun stuff.
Roddy hits a slam on Orange, looks for the running knee, and then Kyle O'Reilly pushes Orange Cassidy out of the way. He eats the knee. And then Orange hits Roddy with an orange punch to get the win. So after the match, Dante Martin makes his way up the ramp, and Jack Perry attacks him. Mark Briscoe then chases Jack Perry up the ramp, but then Takeshita lays him out from behind, and they fight their way through the heel tunnel while Zack Sabre Jr. and Orange get into each other's face in the ring.
Yup.
Really fun match. There's some sequences in here that were fast-paced and crazy counters, and like Orange Cassidy and Zack Sabre Jr. had this great bit where they were just counter wrestling the whole time. It was really good.
Yeah, so many wrestling moves. After that, we had a video package for Stephanie Vaquer and Mercedes Moné, and then we had a Roosh interview. He's pissed off, not happy. Somebody places a mano on his shoulder, and it's Juan Callis. He says, I've got an opportunity. Tango? No, what is it?
Oportunidad is what he said.
Oportunidad. Yo, Tango Oportunidad. Ba-da-dee. And then we had the Young Bucks versus the Acclaimed. I wasn't paying attention. So was this an eliminator match?
Yeah.
It was. Okay, cool.
That's why there's not new tag champions.
Yeah, I figured as much, but eliminator means now you're number one contender.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
I didn't know
this match will happen at maybe not Forbidden Door.
That was like officially a thing. You'd think it might be Forbidden Door, maybe.
Are
the Young Bucks in action at Forbidden Door?
They haven't announced anything for him.
Right, that's what I meant. Yeah.
Yeah.
The best part of this, actually, this was a really, really good match, but one of my favorite parts of this, Sassy Okada is far and away my favorite thing about AEW right now. So the Young Bucks come out first. The Acclaimed come out to make their entrance. Caster starts his rap, but his mic gets turned off. And they're like, what's going on? And then the camera cuts to Okada, and he's sitting backstage, and he's got the monitor and the little thing, and he's acting like he's just jabbing at buttons. And then he says, oh, no, I pressed the wrong button. I'm so sorry. Bitch. And I can't do it. This guy was not properly, New Japan should have been like, look, Okada, we're just going to Yano the hell out of you. Okay. But maybe, I don't know, man, maybe it works so much better because his English is hilarious. It's so good. And he's got the comedic timing down so perfect.
He does.
For like an English speaking audience, which is kind of crazy when you think about it, because, different cultures have different comedic timing. I've noticed this, like just watching a lot of shit.
Yeah.
And the fact that he's got that comedic timing down so perfect for like an American audience is fucking awesome. And I love to see it.
Oh, Okada's great. We've seen glimpses of him doing kind of different stuff than Rainmaker,
Yeah.
Like Balloon Okada was just this weird, off-the-wall idea seemingly he came up with after he dropped the title after his super long reign.
But it's brilliant. It's
It
absolutely
is.
so great.
He dyed his hair red, and he had the balloons, and he was kind of morose, but also kind of like trying to be silly to cover it up. It was great.
Breaking news, Larson. Donald Sutherland has passed.
Oh,
Yeah. What a genius actor.
yeah,
JFK scene stealer.
absolutely.
Damn.
That's a bummer.
It is a bummer. Anyways, good match.
Yes, good match. Bowens, who was, at least in kayfabe, nursing a leg injury, was isolated predominantly by the Young Bucks. I mean, he had the wrap on his thigh. So they were understandably targeting the injury. So at one point, they hit him with an EVP trigger. Caster breaks that up. Shortly thereafter, the Young Bucks hit this crazy top rope neckbreaker powerbomb combo. Bowens kicks out of that. So then Matt starts kicking Bowens in the bad leg a bunch and sets up to hit him with the tag title belt. So so Bowens ducks that, and Matt's about to hit the ref. And the ref takes the belt from him, and while he's getting rid of that belt, Nick gets in the ring and tries to hit Bowens with the other tag title. Bowens evades that one. Nick, though, blasts Matt with it. Bowens sends Nick out of the ring, hits Matt with the arrival. Caster follows with the mic drop to get the win for the Acclaimed.
All right, Larson, we're going to do a quick pop quiz for you. It's
Sure.
not really a pop quiz. So earlier today on my Wrestle Juice channel,
Yeah.
I did this video because I've seen other wrestling YouTubers do it, so I stole the idea. Mr. Santi's app does it. I know Simon Miller does it. And they look at who is going to beat whom for the various WWE championships. Now, I've done this for AEW, did it like a week ago, but this isn't Wrestle Juice. This is Going in Raw. This is
Put me on
Larson's
the spot.
show. Yeah, so I'm going to put you on the spot. I've got all the and on top of that, I could turn this into like shorts, right?
Exactly. That's
All right.
kind of really the point here.
Larson, you're on the spot.
Oh, dear. Do I have
right.
a timer? Just do this in a certain amount of time.
And I don't want any explanation.
Sure.
I just want names.
All right.
That's it. So you're going to tell me who's going to dethrone every AEW champion right now.
Sure.
Swerve Strickland,
Will Ospreay.
Tony Storm,
Mariah May.
Will Ospreay, international champion.
Oh, that one's tough. He vacates it.
Wow. Okay. FTW championship, Chris Jericho.
Oh, Hook's going to get that back.
AEW TNT champion. It's currently vacated. They're going to do a ladder match.
Oh, Jack Perry.
AEW World Tag Team Champions, the Young Bucks. This is why I bring this up.
Yeah. I don't think the Acclaim beat him. Oh, safe picks. FTR. Although I don't know how long Dax is going to be out. He's hurt. So
Man, the endless feud. I think the Young Bucks are going to have those titles for a long time.
I think so, too.
I think so, too. But, like, the tag division is not loaded.
No.
Like, they're not really featuring very many tag teams. FTR is a great pick, though. Because they are going to be out for a while. And the Young Bucks are going to have the titles for a while. So, yeah, sure. FTR, good. Let's see here. The unified six-man titles, which I think right now are apparently they're going to go back to using Bullet Club Gold.
Really?
That's what Sean Ross Sapp said. And I noticed Juice was wearing a Bullet Club Gold shirt on a promo recently.
Interesting.
So yeah, right now, bang, bang, gang, throw your wands up. I mean, your guns up. This is like a fucking, I don't know.
Blackpool Combat Club. I don't know.
There you go. Good one.
No,
Good answer.
Samoa Joe, Hook, and Shibata.
There you go. TBS Championship, currently held by Mercedes Moné.
Willow.
Continental Championship, currently held by Rainmaker Kazuchika Okada.
Wow. Gosh, who's going to beat him? Kenny Omega. I don't know.
That would be my pick, too. I think I said that, too. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Good job. Look at you on the spot. All right. You're off the hook now. Yeah, so Caster gets that mic drop win. Samoa Joe and Hook are backstage. They're walking up to the Premier Athletes locker room, and Joe's like, I'm tired of dealing with these dudes. So when we go in there, I want you to be extra.
And Hook's like, extra?
Extra. Everybody, Lacey's favorite term is you're being extra right now. So they burst into the locker room, but there's nobody there. Instead, there's a note from Mark Sterling challenging them to a 3-on-3 tag match for, I think, Collision, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And then Joe asks Hook and Shibata if they're in. Shibata, holding the camera, has his little phone thing. He says, I'm going to bust some heads or something like that.
Yeah. Then we got a contract signing between Toni Storm and Mina Shirakawa, hosted by Mariah May. So she introduces Mina, then Toni. Got the table sitting across from each other. And May says, this match could be very difficult for me, but I want to let you know that I love you both, and no matter what happens at Forbidden Door, but before she could finish that thought, Mina interrupts. Tells May to shut up. Says, Toni, in Stardom, you were a legend. AEW became a star, but as champ, you got soft. You got weak. Everybody says, we want Mina. Nobody wants you. At Forbidden Door, I take your title and my girl. She signs the contract. So then Toni responds, raise your voice like that to her again, and I'll slap your bloody tits off. You don't want Toni Storm? Well, this buffet is wide open, so grab a bowl, line up, because, darling, I have some advice for you. Chin up, tits out, and watch for the shoe. She signs the contract, and Mariah says, well, it's official, but Mina grabs the mic and says, Mariah, you must choose me or her. And then Saraya, with Harley Cameron, interrupt. Saraya says, shut up, so sick of this, and I'm so sick of you, and I didn't come alone, bitch. So Anna Jay pulls Mina out of the ring, rams her into the ring post. Toni gets tossed out of the ring, and Saraya, Harley, and Anna start attacking Mariah May. And they prop up the table using the contract signing in the corner. Saraya setting up for a powerbomb on Mariah May. Toni comes into the ring with her shoe and blasts Harley, blasts Anna, hits Saraya with a German suplex, and Saraya kind of lands propped up against the table. Toni's looking for a hip attack. Saraya moves, so Toni goes for the table, and while that's the fallout from that's happening, we cut to the stage, and Mariah and Mina are up there watching it.
Yeah, I thought it was a decently effective segment. I like Mina's promo on Toni. I thought that was good. It's funny because I feel like a lot of the character stuff has sort of been told in reverse on this. I feel like that point that Mina made about Toni should have been made towards the beginning of her participation in this whole thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, although I thought it was pretty effective in building this match here. After that, we had a Claudio Pack video package because they're the main event. But first, we had the bracket reveal. We talked about that for both the men and the women. And then we had a women's match for the Owen tournament. Chris Statlander versus Nyla Rose. This was good stuff. Statlander got the win here with a tombstone. And then Stokely got on the mic, said, Willow, after what we did to you last week, I know you want to beat my ass. I know you want to beat Chris Statlander's ass, but if you lay one hand on me or her, you'll be popping locking. Same cell as Justin Timberlake. And he's interrupted by Willow on the Tron. She says, hey, Stokely, how you guys doing there in Fairfax? Happy Juneteenth. And Statlander, congratulations on your win. You get to move on to the second round. And I don't know if you saw, but I got Deeb on Friday on Rampage. And when I win and move on to the second round, there's going to be no more running. I'm going to whoop your ass, Chris, and I'll get one step closer to going to Wembley Stadium.
After that, we got a private party interview. So Renee asked them about they going to take the momentum from their TV time segment last week onto their match on Rampage. And Mark Quinn says, we'd be stupid if we didn't. One thing that Chris Jericho and the Learning Tree learned is that private party ain't no joke. So this, of course, brings Chris Jericho, Bill, Brian Keith. And Chris Jericho says, you did get the upper hand on us last week, but you kind of cheated to do it, didn't you? But I wanted to still give my branches a lesson. When you're facing luchadors like I did when I was in Mexico, because the private party is facing Commander and I can't remember who.
Forget.
Commander's partner is on Rampage. Anyways, Jericho says, when you're facing luchadors like I did when I was in Mexico, I always avoided a move called the Martinetta, also known as a pile driver. Whenever someone tried to do that move to me, I said, that doesn't work for me, brother, and didn't do it. So keep that in mind. Thanks, guys. Thanks, everybody. And then Bill says, you guys made quite the first impression. We're really looking forward to our match on Saturday. Yeah, Brian Keith says, you guys want to do a tope con hilo? You better respect Chris Jericho.
Yeah, what'd you make of the doesn't work for me, brother thing?
I mean, that's an obvious Hogan reference, obviously.
Yeah.
I never really saw Hogan as one as to dispense advice backstage.
Yeah, I was kind of curious. Like, it's an obvious, like you said, it's an obvious Hogan reference. You could even, put together the old pile driver Undertaker thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was kind of like curious as to what the point. And I know comments are like, "You idiot! You don't know what the point of the joke was."
I think just to get a pop from the crowd, because the crowd responded to it.
Yeah, because everybody knows that line. Everybody knows doesn't work for me, brother.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Yeah, I mean, it's just the idea he's dispensing advice that really is sort of too outdated to have any relevance in today's locker room. Is that sort of the point?
I don't know.
I
thought the same thing. I was like, all right, I get the joke, but
like, I get the reference, and
yeah,
like, it's inherently kind of funny. But I'm like, was there a larger point here that I'm just totally missing? Mm-hmm. Just he's giving out bad advice, I guess. Anyways, so after that we had Daniel Garcia versus Rhett Titus.
Rhett Titus got some TV time.
He got some TV time. Thanks,
wasn't very
guys.
long.
Yeah. Garcia, of course, gets the win here with a bloody cross. Gates of Agony come out. Daddy Magic, of course, was on commentary. Brian Cage and Hechicero lay into Garcia. The fight goes into the ring. MJF comes out to make the save. He tackles Hechicero. Bites Cage. Because wait, did we mention earlier MJF? There was a promo, Brian Cage and the Gates of Agony. We mentioned that. Okay.
Yeah, because MJF is facing Hechicero at Forbidden
Door.
Yeah,
exactly. So Cage hits MJF with a German suplex. Hechicero locks on the rings of Saturn. Ospreay comes down to make the save. Fights off Cage and Hechicero. MJF and Ospreay clothesline Cage and Hechicero out of the ring, and they do the thing where they back up into each other. They turn around, they get in each other's faces, while Garcia watches on in the corner, and then MJF just saunters off. Ospreay helps Garcia up and raises his arm. Of course, Garcia's gunning for that international title.
Yeah.
So
after commercial, we come back, we get a Will Ospreay interview, and Renee asks, hey, what was that between you and MJF? And Ospreay says, well, I don't give a crap about MJF. I saw Daniel Garcia out there. He's interrupted by Brian Cage, who's trying to make his way backstage towards Ospreay, being held back by security. They argue back and forth. It's going to lead to an international title match Saturday on Collision.
Yep.
Then we got our main event.
Certainly win. Yeah, we had our main event, Claudio versus Pac. Good stuff here, and this is, of course, the
opening round of the Owen tournament. Yes.
Yeah. So Pac gets the win here, but yeah, just a terrific match.
Really, really good. Yeah, Pac gets the win. The finishing sequence where they were just trading roll-up variations. Mm-hmm. They try to do cradles and roll-ups. I'm surprised there wasn't any jackknife pins, backslides. Mm-hmm. And it all ends with Pac getting a crucifix pin on Claudio to get the win. But yeah, really good stuff. Really good stuff.
Much different crucifix pin than Bailey, which was not a roll-up, straight up pin after a bomb, sort of transitioning from it. Not a roll-up, though.
Oh, it definitely looked like a roll-up to me, but, I guess I'm a little more liberal with my definition of roll-up than maybe you are.
Maybe. A very strict definition I have.
That seems to be kind of your MO regardless. Very strict definitions of things.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah, I think so.
Wow. Harsh indictment from Larson.
Like you think a pizza without cheese isn't a pizza.
Oh, has that been on your mind? Have you been like, that son of a bitch?
Maybe.
Judging my cheeseless pizza.
Taking a shot at me just because I'm lactose intolerant? That hardly seems fair.
What? Oh, that's some gaslighting, I think. I think that's what the kids call that. Oh, man. Man, pizza without cheese. Did I say that? I don't think that's a real pizza.
I think you have before, yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that.
I think my response was the pizza other places in the world, like in Italy, I think there's pizza options that don't have cheese on them.
Bad options.
Well, that's subjective.
You got that right. Oh, man. Let's go ahead and answer some questions before this turns to blows, Larson.
I guess so. To reach through the internet to
Oh no!
to strike you down.
Just take it out on me on Tuesday when we ball up.
There
Like,
we go.
oh,
I don't know.
God,
Give
what
me
was that
another
elbow in
bruise
the
on my hip.
face? You're like, it was a
Oh, that was
play,
an accident.
play on the ball.
Yeah, I was trying to block the shot.
Yeah. Oh man. Let's see here. Carlos says, "What are some of your love letter to wrestling match or moments?" He says his is Cody Roman 2 because all the eras of wrestling are represented. My personal favorite one we were there for would be the Monday Night Wars match, the Sting versus Triple H. You say I understand. Look, Sting probably should have won that, but it wouldn't make any sense because WCW didn't buy WWF. WCW didn't win the Monday Night War. As we're finding out right now, there's a whole documentary called "Who Killed WCW." Well, Triple H killed him in that match because that's sort of how it goes.
It would have made more sense for the NWO to cost Sting the match than
I disagree so firmly with that because it's WCW versus WWF. And on top of that, Sting was Wolfpack NWO.
Yeah, but Hogan wasn't in Wolfpack with Sting. That never happened.
He was in the NWO Elite with Nash.
Yeah. Alex
trying to
Foster.
remember, how did they write out Sting from Wolfpack?
I don't remember.
Now
He probably
I
just
wanna
stopped
know.
showing up.
He probably got injured, came back. He's like,
Nah.
now I'm in the Millionaires Club. What's that?
All right. He probably just says, all right, that's cool. I'll do that. Woo. Alex Foster says, what are your guys' thoughts on Sonata saying he'd like to team with Evil and Naito again someday? Well, I guess either Naito and Sonata got to join House of Torture.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Or Naito's got to convince Sonata, although Sonata doesn't seem like he needs much convincing, and Evil to rejoin LIJ.
Oof, that's a step back. Yeah, man. I don't know. I don't, obviously we don't really keep up that much. What has his Sonata even been doing since he lost to Naito?
I don't know.
Yeah, I have not heard a thing about that. But then I barely keep track of what's going on. Is he in the G1? Is Sonata in the G1?
I didn't notice, but I didn't pay that close attention to the. I was waiting until the qualifying matches happen because if we're gonna do a predictions challenge, then of course at a certain point I got to pay attention. But that time hasn't come yet.
Oh man, you're looking to retain that, huh?
Looking to
G1.
repeat. It's a G1
that was.
champ.
Hey, look, man. I know we were giving each other. I was giving you some shit. I hate fucking doing this. Never mind. Nothing you've done has ever been impressive. Nothing you've done has ever been impressive. No,
Wow.
honestly, that's probably been the most impressive predictions victory we've ever had is you winning the G1.
Oh, shucks.
Oh, shut up. Shut up. John and Alistair Voice says, we always hear of stories starting strong, but always flopping the landing. Can you recall any stories that started with a flop, but ended incredibly well in the end? I don't know about ending, but Judgment Day sure did start with a fart.
Oh yeah, that was.
And now it's awesome.
Very underwhelming when it started. Cameron Bortolazzo, who in AEW needs either their own faction or join an already existing faction. Who needs to faction up in AEW, Steve?
Who needs to faction up? I wouldn't mind if he sort of ditches Daddy Magic anyways. Daniel Garcia would make a really cool addition to the Joe Hook Shibata thing.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty cool.
That would be cool. Hey, why can't Daddy Magic just come along?
Doesn't fit, dude.
Doesn't fit.
I like
All right.
Daddy Magic. I just don't think he fits.
Blake Whitehouse here asked, does AEW have too many top names that can't be taking pins for tournaments like the Owen to be loaded with top guys? There's too many people that Tony Khan feels like needs to be protected.
I agree with that, yeah.
And that's an issue. When you got a tournament that you're trying to make prestigious, people could take a loss in that.
Yeah.
In fact, whoever wins it makes it seem all the more impressive. They beat top names in the process of winning it.
Yeah. All right, so Sonata's in the A block. I'm looking at right now. We've got all of former LIJ in the A block. We have Evil, Sonata, and Naito there. And Shingo's there. Also, the Great O'Khan, Zack Sabre Jr., Gabe Kidd, Jake Lee, and then Shota Umino. Shota Umino. And then in the B block is El Phantasmo, Goto, Tsuji, Yamura, Jeff Cobb, Hanare, David Finlay, Ren Narita, and Konosuke Takeshita. And then there are two
wild card spots, right?
Yeah.
Or to be determined. They're having qualifying.
They're having qualifiers, for the last spot.
And they're doing the semis and the finals differently this year, I think.
Oh, are they? Okay.
I think so. I have to refresh on all that before I even think about making any picks. Nikyle here says, since the Elite are now in a feud with the Elite. Sorry, since the Acclaimed are now in a feud with the Elite. Sorry. Would AEW do Billy Gunn versus Okada? Oh, and how long does Okada have to squash Daddy Ass? No, don't do that match.
Why don't you do Okada versus Billy Gunn?
Unless Okada wins in 30 seconds, you don't do that match.
No. Listen, this is what you do in the match. It's 12 minutes. Billy Gunn getting just an absurd amount of offense in. Really beating the shit out of him. Only for Okada to get a desperation Rainmaker in the end. He wins.
And does Shane McMahon come after the match to challenge Okada for...
Comes the money. Money. No, Shane McMahon versus Billy Gunn. That's a match.
That will lead people to turn the channel. Yes.
Don't finish my sentences. NPRs, don't add clauses to my sentences. NPR says, with the WWE TNA crossover in full effect, which faction from NXT would you want to visit the Hardy compound? Throw 'em up to you!
Joe Juarez, so given the stare down between Ospreay and MJF, this confirmed they'll face off at Wembley and Swerve is losing at Forbidden Door. I think it confirms it'll be Ospreay and MJF at Wembley. I don't think it confirms that Swerve is losing at Forbidden Door.
Yeah, where do you stand on that right now? Because I said earlier, I hope they do this, but they could be just fast-tracking Ospreay to be top guy.
It's entirely possible, in which case MJF would have to be wild card in the Owen tournament.
Oh, okay. I could see that. There you
go. Jimmy Thomas, what would be the phrase you would yell out after you kick in someone's door for a fight? Oh, because Hook cooked in the door, and I can't remember what he said, but Joe kind of poked fun at him for it.
Yeah. I mean, what are some of the common ones? Like, break yourself. That's a good one. Come get some.
A lot of people just go, ah.
Oh, yeah.
Or like Kool-Aid Man, not a door, but a wall. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's an iconic one right there.
Oh, absolutely.
If I broke that door down.
If you kick the door down, you just say, Steve here.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
But say Steve it like here. An aggressive way.
Steve here. I'm not a very aggressive person.
No.
How would I? Steve. Yeah, I don't even know how I'd do that. Steve. It's not very. You need something like
Yeah.
Check yourself. Engage. That's what I would do. I'd use Picard's line. Engage. Yeah, that sounds cool. Yeah, I'd do the point too. Engage. Oh my God. Let's see. AJ says, if you had to make a faction doomed to fall apart, who'd you want in it?
Why would I make a faction doomed to fall apart?
Good stories right there.
Oh, okay. Like in terms of story, not in terms of like a faction that's bad and then just kind of dissolves.
Yeah, no, that sounds lame. I'm just trying to make the best of this question. Hilton?
Oh, like people we know? Oh, yeah. If Hilton and I are in a faction, it's doomed to fall apart.
Hilton and Larson. That's my faction right there.
Immediate struggle for leadership.
Then I'd have to be like, oh, man, Steve's torn. Who does he go with?
You go with Hilton just to spite me. We all know that.
Yeah, I know. But it's like you're also my bread and butter over here going in Raw. So it's like, what do? I go with my heart or my head?
Conflicted.
See, that's good storytelling right there.
Luis, whose debut was more impactful, Wyatt Six or the Nexus?
So Nexus almost killed the guy, Justin Roberts. Wyatt Six did kill people.
Well, not for real. Like Chad Gable's going to be on Raw on Monday, probably.
Yeah, probably. I thought they were both very, very well done. I'd probably go with the Nexus because I think that was like a surprise deal.
Yeah.
Like it was one of those was like, oh my God, this is crazy. And I know the Wyatt Six was too, but I think there's still like I'd probably give it to the Nexus.
Impactful, yeah, because the Nexus came out and attacked during the main event of Raw.
Yeah. And
laid everybody out, tore up the entire ringside area.
And then tried to kill Justin Roberts.
Yeah.
I would say that I even, sort of from the get-go, I have more interest in the Wyatt Six than I did with the Nexus.
So the Nexus debut more impactful, Wyatt Six more intriguing.
There, that's perfect. That's how you put it. David Matuszek talking about intriguing. With the worrying possibility of Shane McMahon going to AEW, what other doomsday scenarios do you see happening in wrestling? What's possible, anyways? Doomsday situations that are possible.
I mean, I guess if Vince went somewhere.
That's the same one as mine, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. If he somehow came back. Let's see here.
Brandon Garza says, if you were released from WWE, what would be the first promotion you'd want to debut for? ACW.
Who's the what? What's the question?
If you were released from WWE, what would be the first promotion you'd want to debut for? And I said ACW.
Oh, Action Coast Wrestling? Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm trying to come up with a different answer. I mean,
Deadlock Pro.
I'm released from WWE. Okay, so I can't go to Chase U. Yeah, I don't know. Like probably just one of those cool film vignettes for New Japan.
Oh, there you go.
That'd be cool.
Where would you film your vignette at?
A really quiet baseball stadium.
Okay.
And I'd find you there.
And how many glizzies would I have, and how many would you have?
You'd be like 6 deep.
Uh-huh.
And you'd be like, and you'd throw one at me. And you'd be like, get started. And then boom. That's the try. That's when it's like, whoa.
Yeah. That's
shit. Get started.
I felt like the other night when I had 3, I probably could have done 6, but it would have been a bad idea.
Yeah, it would have been a terrible idea. Fear and Loathing says, out of all the wrestlers whose ire you might have drawn over the years, who's most likely to create a spite podcast to try and hurt your business? Wow. So, I mean, God, wrestlers we've drawn the ire of. I used to be blocked by Seth Rollins, and I honestly don't remember why. I think there was that period of time when, like, he was kind of a lame-o, and, like, there was that dude who brought the signs that Seth Rollins isn't cool. But I'm not blocked by him anymore. I don't know what happened. But I'm happy about that because I don't like to.
Is the Going in Raw account still blocked by Mauro Ranallo?
Oh, I don't know. Is he still on Twitter? I don't even know if he's still on Twitter. Yeah, Mauro blocked because I didn't even. I think he vanity sort of maybe somebody snitch tagged me. I'm not sure. Of course, there is my recent online kerfuffle with AJ Francis, which I felt kind of bad about. I don't like to make anybody feel bad. We were just having bants, I did. You know what I did last night? I vanity searched us.
Oh,
I don't do that very often.
I don't think I've ever done
curious. I was just sort of curious.
And
mixed bag.
Yeah. That could make for a fun video someday, Steve.
Oh yeah, vanity search. You're right.
Like, give me an example of if you can recall any, a good one and a negative one. I want the full gamut.
Oh, I mean,
sentiment.
Positive one. We've had plenty of people, in response to people saying, "Hey, what podcast do you like?" Or like, "Hey, this was something cool that happened in wrestling," and then they would say, "Oh yeah, Steven Larson said blah blah blah," or like, "Oh, Steven Larson are my go-to." So there's plenty of that. And then there's also, some like, I don't know, maybe we banned him, maybe we blocked him, but it's like kind of over the top these guys are hypocrite assholes. Fuck it. I mean, I'll take a look really quick, just for like a little preview.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Steven Larson. And I go to latest because it's sort of like everybody.
Yeah.
Here we go. This is a week ago. Jerome said, his actual Twitter is Jerome says, Steven Larson, sounds like Steven Larson jealous of these content creators that get to pull up to the WWE press conferences, because we were talking some shit about the press conferences. I legitimately, and this might be tongue in cheek, I don't know, whatever. I don't take it. Look, we've been on YouTube for a very long time.
Yeah.
I've had like death threats in YouTube comments before.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't really get phased much.
Mm-mm.
Honest to God, if we were invited at this point, like 2017, 2018, 2019, probably would be like, oh, let's go do this. At this point, 2024, I can almost guarantee we'd be like, don't want to do that.
I mean, because part of it, beyond the awkwardness of attending those press conferences, it would remove us from covering pay-per-views how we normally do. We wouldn't do that.
It would hurt our business. But on top of that, I would feel the need to try to ask a question, and I would be so cringy doing it.
Mm-hmm.
I would be embarrassing.
Like, I'm there, I'd feel obligated to do something other than just sit there.
Yeah, right.
And be like, Triple H, oh gosh, what'd you have for breakfast this morning? Oh dear.
Right, yeah. I would be terrible at it.
Yeah.
Which is why I'm fine saying I see a lot of these people get up there and it's so embarrassing. It's hard to watch. Partially maybe because I know that I would be terrible at it. So no, I'm not jealous of them at all. It's just hard to watch. Yeah. There's a lot of people are either the AJ Francis kerfuffle, a lot of people defending us. And I appreciate that. This guy says, Kush Jericho says, laugh my ass off. Now y'all turn on Steven Larson, which I appreciate. Steven NDR says, nah, Steven Larson are super wholesome. This is just some banter. But then there's also people, talking shit about that. Here we go. Life Liver Stuff Doer says, bruh, I forgot Steven Larson were a thing. Understandable. We've been around for a long time.
Yeah.
We are no longer the new kids on the block.
No, we're the establishment now.
We're the establishment. We're the wrestling grandpas. Dude, we're like, let me check Chartable here.
Oh, yeah, let's close the show with the Chartable check.
Yeah. See if that son of a bitch Solomonster is ahead of us.
Oh, come on.
rankings.
Solomonster's great.
Nice, dude. Oh, here we go. Look at this. Number 17 in Wrestling Podcast. Solomonster's 24. Steven Larson to win again. This dude was at like number 8, though, last week. I don't think we've ever been that high.
It ebbs and flows, I'm assuming. Based
it
on
does. It does.
Literally the performance of your last show or shows. So
Yeah. Yeah. No, love Solomonster. I think it's terrific.
Great.
He's awesome. Real good guy. So yeah, we're doing, but yeah, dude, when you're what's funny? I saw a screenshot from 2017, a Chartable screenshot.
Yeah.
We were number 46 in all sports. Do you remember like around 2018, 2019, ESPN started making every single segment like its own podcast. Mm-hmm. And now like, I think we're probably in the top 200, 300 of all sports.
I know. In the last few years, there's been so many podcasts that just been released.
But in terms of
crazy.
Like Chartable, in terms of like podcasts with no wrestlers on it, look at this. We're like top, I don't know, 3 or whatever. Those Deadlock boys are always killing us though. And they're like, I think just weekly. We're daily. They're weekly.
Yeah.
Love those guys. Those guys are great.
Great.
Look, Chris Van Vliet here at number 2. Man, wow. Good looking guy too. Nothing but love for these people. Oh,
we got some programming notes because Steve's going on a trip. So tomorrow, no live show. You'll get a show. It's a count out. And then Monday, No live show. You'll get a show, though. Another count out.
Another count. We got 2 killer count outs with some just thumbnails. We got this dude doing our thumbnails now. Man, I have opened up the company checkbook for this guy.
How much you paying yourself, Steve?
Oh, man, you have no idea. Just unreal money.
I should have an idea.
right? I should tell you.
You should tell me these things.
You'll find out when our statement.
When I have to do the taxes, huh? Is that when I'll find out? They're like, what?
What?
Larson only gets 25%?
Oh my God. Wow. You're like, Steve Thumbnails LLC gets a whole 25%? Oh man. Yeah. Good looking thumbnails though. Dude, there's so many awesome content creators out there.
There are.
That I steal from, because, and I say that with reverence because that's what you got to do. And when I say steal from, you got to see what people out there are doing.
That works.
And how can you bring your own spin to it? You got to keep up with what people are doing.
Absolutely.
And but no, there's a lot of great content out there, and I'm just so happy that a lot of people have elected to have remembered that we're out here. But yeah, I think a video where we vanity search ourselves would be amazing.
That'd be pretty interesting, I think. I think that could be fun.
Yeah, dude, absolutely. If there's one thing we love to make fun of, it's Steve and Larson.
It is.
Yeah.
We're generally first in line to do that.
Absolutely. We raise our hand first. Thanks for watching, everybody. We appreciate it. Till next time, we'll see you guys around.
Goodbye.